Unleashing the power of authentic sisterhood. How Black women are rewriting the rules of success. Welcome to the Black CEO Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories that are reshaping our world. Today, we're about to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about community, empowerment, and the unstoppable force of Black women united. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of sitting down with Tiffany Bass, the visionary founder of Authentic Women with Ambition, or AWA. Let me tell you, this conversation didn't just inspire me, it lit a fire in my soul that's still burning bright. Tiffany isn't just creating an organization, she's sparking a revolution that's set to change the game for Black women everywhere. Now, before we dive in, I want you to take a moment and think about the last time you felt truly seen, heard, and valued. Not just tolerated or acknowledged, but genuinely celebrated for every facet of who you are. For many of us, especially Black women, those moments can be few and far between, but that's exactly the kind of space Tiffany has created with AWA, and it's nothing short of magical. Imagine, if you will, a community where Black women from all walks of life come together, not just to network, but to forge deep, meaningful connections. We're talking about a carefully curated sisterhood that spans 7 states, bringing together an eclectic mix of powerhouses from CEOs to customer service representatives, doctors to dreamers. It's like the Avengers of Black female empowerment, each member bringing their unique superpower to the table. But here's where it gets really interesting. AWA isn't your run of the mill networking group. Oh no, it's so much more. It's a movement, a revolution, a safe haven where Black women can be unapologetically, gloriously themselves. And in a world that often tries to dim our light or put us in boxes, that's not just refreshing, it's revolutionary. Now, you might be wondering what makes AWA so special? Well, buckle up because I'm about to break it down for you. First off, it's invitation only. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't some come one, come all Facebook group. Tiffany and her team carefully curate their membership to ensure that every single woman who joins shares their values and mission. It's like the VIP section of empowerment groups, and trust me, you want to be on this list. But don't let the exclusivity fool you. This isn't about being elitist, it's about creating a space where every member feels safe, valued, and understood. In a world where Black women often have to code switch or tone themselves down, AWA is a breath of fresh air. It's a place where you can show up as your full, authentic self and be celebrated for it. Now, let's talk about the 3 pillars that form the foundation of AWA: self care, women empowerment, and community building. These aren't just buzzwords, they're the lifeblood of this organization. Let's start with self care. We've all heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Well, AWA takes this to heart. They understand that for Black women to thrive, we need to prioritize our own well being. This isn't just about spa days and face masks, although those are great too. It's about deep, meaningful self care that nourishes our souls and replenishes our energy. Tiffany shared with me how AWA members support each other in creating sustainable self care practices. They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. From meditation sessions to wellness retreats, AWA is making sure that its members have the tools and support they need to take care of themselves first. And let me tell you, this focus on self care isn't just feel good fluff, it's revolutionary. In a society that often expects Black women to be strong, to be the backbone, to carry everyone else's burdens, prioritizing our own well being is a radical act of self love. It's saying, I matter. My health matters. My happiness matters. And that, my friends, is powerful. Let me share a story that really drove this point home for me. Tiffany told me about an AWA member. Let's call her Jasmine. Jasmine was a high powered executive, always on the go, always putting everyone else's needs before her own. She was the epitome of the strong Black woman stereotype. The one who can handle everything, who never breaks, who's always there for everyone else. But inside, Jasmine was crumbling. She was exhausted, burnt out, and on the verge of a breakdown. It was her AWA sisters who saw through the facade. They didn't just offer platitudes or tell her to stay strong. Instead, they rallied around her. They helped her create boundaries, encouraged her to take time off, and even pitched in to help with her workload. The result? Jasmine didn't just avoid burnout, she flourished. She found a new balance in her life, started prioritizing her health, and even found time to pursue a long forgotten passion for painting. And here's the kicker: her work performance improved too. She was more focused, more creative, and more effective than ever before. This story isn't unique. It's happening all across AWA. Women are learning that taking care of themselves isn't selfish, it's necessary. They're redefining what it means to be strong, and in doing so, they're changing the narrative for Black women everywhere. Now, let's move on to women empowerment. We've all been to those women's empowerment events that leave us feeling more drained than empowered, right? Well, AWA is flipping the script on what empowerment really means. It's not just about motivational speeches and vision boards, although those can be great tools. It's about tangible, practical support that helps women level up in every area of their lives. Tiffany shared stories of AWA members who have started business, gotten promotions, gone back to school, all with the support and encouragement of their AWA sisters. This is empowerment in action. It's women lifting each other up, sharing resources, and celebrating each other's wins as if they were their own. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria had always dreamed of starting her own business, but fear and self-doubt held her back. She'd attend networking events and leave feeling overwhelmed and inadequate. But when she joined AWA, everything changed. In AWA, Maria found mentors who had walked the path she wanted to tread. She found sisters who believed in her vision even when she doubted herself. They didn't just offer vague encouragement, they rolled up their sleeves and got to work. One member helped her refine her business plan. Another connected her with the graphic designer for her logo. A third offered to be her first client. Within 6 months, Maria's dream was a reality. She launched her consulting firm, and within a year, she was turning a profit. But here's what really blew me away. The first thing Maria did when she started making money, she turned around and invested in another AWA sister's dream. That's the power of true empowerment. It creates a ripple effect that lifts everyone up. But here's what really sets AWA apart. They don't just focus on professional empowerment. They understand that true empowerment touches every aspect of our lives. They're having real, honest conversations about relationships, about mental health, about spirituality. They're creating a space where women can be vulnerable, can ask for help, can admit when they're struggling. And in doing so, they're redefining what strength looks like for Black women. Take the story of Aisha. Aisha was going through a difficult divorce and she was struggling to keep it together. In many circles, she felt pressure to put on a brave face, to not show weakness. But in AWA, she found a different kind of strength. She found women who held space for her pain, who listened without judgment, who offered support without trying to fix her. Through AWA, Aisha not only found the emotional support she needed, but also practical help. One member, a financial advisor, helped her navigate the complex financial aspects of divorce. Another, a therapist, offered her resources for healing and self-discovery. A third, who had been through a similar experience, became a personal mentor, guiding Aisha through the darkest days. Today, Aisha isn't just surviving, she's thriving. She's rediscovered parts of herself she thought she'd lost. She's exploring new passions, building new relationships, and even mentoring other women going through similar experiences. Her journey is a powerful reminder that true empowerment isn't about never falling. It's about knowing you have a sisterhood to catch you when you do. Now, let's talk about the third pillar, community building. As seen in today's digital age, we're more connected than ever. Yet somehow, many of us feel more isolated than ever before. AWA is changing that narrative. They're proving that meaningful connections can be built, even across state lines. Tiffany shared how AWA members show up for each other in real, tangible ways. They're not just liking each other's posts or sending the occasional DM. They're showing up at each other's events. They're sending care packages during tough times. They're having deep, meaningful conversations that go beyond surface level small talk. Let me paint a picture for you. When one AWA member, let's call her Tanya, lost her mother, she was devastated. She lived alone in a new city, far from family and friends. In many scenarios, she would have faced this loss in isolation, but not with AWA. Within hours of sharing the news, Tanya's AWA sisters sprang into action. One member who lived nearby showed up with home-cooked meals. Another organized a virtual prayer circle. A third, who worked in HR, helped Tanya navigate her bereavement leave. And when the day of the funeral came, Tanya wasn't alone. 3 AWA members flew in from different states to be by her side. This kind of community doesn't just happen by accident. It takes intentionality, it takes commitment, it takes a shared vision, and that's exactly what Tiffany has created with AWA. She's fostered a culture where women are invested in each other's success, where they celebrate each other's wins and they support each other through the losses. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but what's the real impact? Well, let me tell you, the impact is profound. AWA is changing lives, one woman at a time. They're creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond their membership. Think about it. When you empower one woman, you're not just changing her life, you're changing the lives of her family, her community, her workplace. You're creating a new generation of leaders who understand the power of authenticity, of community, of lifting as we climb. And the results speak for themselves. In just 1 year since its launch, AWA has already been recognized as an award-winning group in 2024. That's right. They're not just talking about making a difference. They're actually doing it. They're setting a new standard for what women's organizations can be and do. But here's what really gets me excited. This is just the beginning. AWA is still in its infancy and it's already making waves. Can you imagine what they'll achieve in 5 years, in 10 years? They're not just changing the game, they're creating a whole new playbook. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great, but I'm not a black woman. How does this apply to me? Well, let me tell you, the lessons we can learn from AWA are universal. Whether you're a man or a woman, regardless of your race or background, there's something powerful here for all of us. We can all learn from AWA's commitment to authenticity. In a world that often pressures us to conform, to fit in, AWA is a reminder of the power of being true to ourselves. They're showing us that our uniqueness isn't something to be hidden or ashamed of. It's our superpower. We can all take a page from AWA's book when it comes to community building. In an age where it's easy to feel disconnected, AWA reminds us of the importance of genuine, meaningful connections. They're showing us that community isn't just about proximity, it's about shared values, shared goals, and a commitment to supporting each other. And we can all be inspired by AWA's focus on empowerment. They're reminding us that true empowerment isn't about competing with each other. It's about lifting each other up. It's about recognizing that when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. So, as we wrap up this incredible journey through the world of AWA, I want to leave you with a challenge. How can you apply these principles in your own life? How can you create more authenticity, more community, more empowerment in your world? Maybe it's starting a small group in your workplace or community. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you admire and offering your support. Maybe it's simply being more intentional about showing up as your authentic self, even when it's uncomfortable. Whatever it is, I encourage you to take action. Because here's the thing, the magic of AWA isn't limited to their membership. It's a mindset, a way of being in the world that we can all adopt. Imagine a world where we all approached our relationships with the intentionality of AWA, where we prioritize authenticity over fitting in, where we lifted each other up instead of tearing each other down. That's the kind of world AWA is creating, and it's a world I want to live in. So, let's take a page from Tiffany Bass's book. Let's be authentic. Let's be ambitious. Let's build communities that uplift and empower. Because when we do that, we're not just changing our own lives, we're changing the world. As we close out this episode, I want to express my deepest gratitude to Tiffany Bass for sharing her vision with us. The work she's doing with AWA is truly transformative, and I can't wait to see what they'll achieve next. And to all of you listening, I want to leave you with this. The power to create change is in your hands. It starts with you. It starts today. So I challenge you, no, I dare you to step out of your comfort zone, reach out to someone different from you, share your authentic self with the world, build a community that lifts as it climbs. Because here's the truth. We're not just talking about building networks or organizations. We're talking about rewriting the rules of success. We're talking about creating a world where every voice is heard, where every dream has a chance to flourish, where authenticity is celebrated and diversity is our strength. This isn't just about Black women, though their strength and resilience light the way. This is about all of us. It's about recognizing that when we come together, when we support each other, when we celebrate our differences instead of fearing them, that's when we truly thrive. So as you leave this podcast today, I want you to ask yourself, what's your AWA? What's the community you're going to build? What's the change you're going to make? Because the world is waiting. It's waiting for your voice, your passion, your unique contribution. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The time is now. The place is here. And you, yes, you are exactly the person we've been waiting for. So go out there, be authentic, be ambitious. And most importantly, lift as you climb. Because when we rise together, there's no limit to how high we can soar. Thank you for tuning into the Black CEO podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming big, keep pushing boundaries, and keep making history. The world is waiting for your unique contribution. Let's make it count.